Hi, I'm Hex Ray Vision. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about our visit to the OSR, which is an intentional community centrally located in Utah. So sit back, get your popcorn. I'll see you after the intro. Hi, today we're going to bring you the good, the bad, and the ugly about the OSR in central Utah. It's an intentional community full of very ambitious people with a lot of land and a lot of water. And myself, Hex Ray Vision, Ecobuilder, and Hexoteric, aka Rogue Herbalist, went out and took a tour of the OSR intentional community and took notes, asked questions, and we're here to bring you all the information that we got to share so that you can look into it deeper if that's something you're interested in. The guy that took us on most of the tour was named Philip, and he's in most of these pictures that you're going to see today, showing us where the pumps are, the batch plant, the lots, and introducing us to some of the awesome people in this community. So the day started out with us meeting in the town of Nephi, Utah, to meet up with one of our friends, Jesse. So shout out to Jesse at the OSR. He was very, very helpful. And we followed him out there on a long drive. It was probably about 2 hours from Nephi out there, and well over an hour of that was on dirt roads. The dirt roads are one of the challenges that some people may not want to endure being part of this community. They may want something that's a little bit closer to civilization, and they may want something that's a little easier to drive on with a passenger car or a minivan or something with front wheel drive, because one thing we did notice was that the road going out there is, if it snows or rains and gets muddy and sloppy in some places, you're going to want a four-wheel drive vehicle with somewhat decent clearance to get in there and out there. The community members that we spoke to about the road are grateful. They see it as a positive that they do have space and they do have almost a buffer zone from other communities, so they can have their peace and their quiet, and they're not going to be bothered by commercial interests or other people out there for the most part. In fact, the closest thing to the community are some sand dunes called the Little Sahara, and the Little Sahara is a place where a lot of people go out to go four-wheeling and dirt biking, and so you'll see a lot of those people out there with their ATVs and off-road vehicles and their campers and trailers having a good time on the way out there. But like I said, it is quite a drive out there. It's quite a distance. You're going to be about 2 to 4 hours away from shopping, hospitals, and most other services. And that's really pushed the OSR community to be as self-reliant as possible. In fact, if you were to boil the OSR down into one main theme, it would be self-reliance. They really want to be self-reliant. They really want to create freedom in the form of self-reliance out there. And so that's their whole underlying mission at the OSR, is self-reliance. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for the people that the OSR would like to recruit are people who share this vision of being self-reliant and part of a community that strives to take care of itself. And so with that being said, the day started off driving out on that long road, and we got out there. We met at the Welcome Center, which is like a clubhouse where they have a community garden out back and a large solar set up to run some of the equipment there at the Welcome Center. After that, we're given a presentation by Philip, which is a very smart and very ambitious man. And as far as we can tell, a very honest man. There were no questions that he didn't want to answer. There were no subjects that were off limits. And so he gave us a presentation that outlined the legal structure of the co-op. So the OSR is a co-op with members, and you would buy into this co-op, and that gives you the ability to buy things in bulk, receive services in bulk, and also sell services and products in bulk. But legally, this gives them a structure in which they can have the sovereignty that they need from the state of Utah and the county of Juab, and they also can give people the rights that they need in their individual property. So when you buy into the OSR, you're buying a share of the co-op, and that gives you rights to vote in decisions made by the board and representation. That's also attached to a 195-year lease on a piece of property and 6 acre-feet of water, which, if you don't know about acre-feet of water, that's about how much water you would need for 2 acres, and a garden and some livestock and a household. The one thing that they have a lot of at the OSR is water. There are 3 underground rivers that run through the valley that they sit in, and they have 6 community wells, which are giving them as much water as they need at this point in their development. And so they've got a lot of water out there, which is great. They've got a lot of land and a lot of room, which is also great. And to be honest, they have a lot of peace and a lot of privacy as a community goes, where I see them being able to do anything that they want within reason. When you buy a share of the co-op of the OSR, that entitles you to rights as a community member, rights to some of the income that the community receives through farming, through other things that the community may do in the future for income. And it also is attached to a lease of a piece of property of 2 or more acres. Most of them are 2 acres, but some are a little bit larger. That's a 195-year lease and rights to the water. So basically, your great-great-grandchildren will have rights to this property if you structure it legally that way, to where you're not really worried about someone taking it away. Now let's talk about the requirements to join the community. First of all, you have to have the mission yourself of self-reliance, number 1. Number 2, you've got to show a history of yourself trying to be and learn to be self-reliant. Number 3, you need to have the resources, financially, materially, and manpower wise, to fulfill your vision of what you want to do on your lot. And then number 4, you can't be a horrible person. You can't be a narcissist. They interview people and do an in-depth analysis of what your family's like, what you're like personality wise, and if you get along with other people, which is great, because you would definitely want to avoid putting all this time, effort, money, and resources into a community and have one family or one individual cause drama and problems. It brings the whole thing down. I appreciate their system of rooting out people that don't belong in the community. If you invested and became a shareholder of the ORS community and later you wanted to sell your land and your shares to someone else, they would also have to meet the criteria of those 4 requirements. They're ensuring that your investment and what you think you're investing in stays true to that vision the whole time you're owning it. So you don't have to worry about, in the words of Hexicans, getting a rug pull on your community and things changing after the fact. So legally, they've got a lot going for them, the way they've structured their intentional community. The people that we met on this intentional community are all very motivated. They're very friendly and inviting, and they're all very hardworking. They are committed to seeing the vision of self-reliance met, which is really encouraging. And a lot of the houses out there are built to take advantage of the geothermal in the ground. So not only are a lot of structures built into the ground and being dug into the ground, but they are also heavily insulated with concrete and with styrofoam. A lot of styrofoam out there that's going to help cut down on energy costs. Most of the places out there have decent solar setups where they're going to be able to run the necessities at their house. You're going to be able to run electronic equipment, lights, and small appliances. Obviously, a lot of these solar packages aren't made like the grid, so you're not going to be running an air conditioner and a microwave and a coffee maker all at the same time. So you're going to have to be judicious on your energy use at this time, unless you go crazy and really put in a giant energy system with a lot of storage, batteries, and redundancy, which, maybe someone will. A lot of the people that were already trying to grow their own food were doing so with livestock hoop houses, and a lot of them are in the process of building greenhouses and things that will extend the growing season so they can grow longer in the year. We saw the use of a lot of connexes, both for storage and for structural use. And a lot of the people out there right now have quite a bit of food storage. So if they're stuck or unable to get in or out of the community, they would be fine food-wise and water-wise at this point for sure. The biggest strengths of the OSR community are the people. The people are problem solvers. They get along well with each other. They're ambitious. They share the same passion and mission to create a self-reliant community. The biggest challenges that I see that they face are trying to create as close to a closed loop system as you can get. For instance, calories are hard to produce. They're a lot harder than people think. The best ways to produce calories on your land are starches like grains, rice, wheat, things that are heavy in carbs. The other way to produce enough calories and nutrition to feed yourself are going to be with animals. And right now, the way that most people raise animals are through the use of hardware stores.
Hi there. Is there a project you're working on?
I know more than you.
All right.
People get their pet supplies, equipment, and most importantly, their feed for their animals from these big retailers. So if you are out here in the OSR and you're raising animals like some of these people already are, you'd have to create up an entire system to support the livestock, to feed the livestock, and to come up with the little supplies that people usually don't think about. Caging supplies, veterinary supplies, just all sorts of little things that go with animals that you take for granted if you're not having to come up with it yourself. So that was really interesting. That's the biggest challenge that I see, is how do they create a closed loop system of calories as close as they can to feed and produce for themselves and their animals, which in turn would be feeding them. That's something that will be really exciting and interesting going forward. I look forward to going out there for an update in the next 2 to 5 years as our Hexagon stakes mature. Go out there and take another look and see the progress they've made and show them the progress we've made. We told everyone, both the people on the tour with us and the people that were giving the tour, about Hex and how amazing it was. Unfortunately, a lot of the people that lived at the OSR had their spidey senses up and thought it was some sort of an MLM or something like that. But a lot of the people that we went on the tour with, we gave links to, we've been emailing, and continuing to contact and update them and answer their questions about Hex. So hopefully we have a handful more people onboarded into Hex, if nothing else. And as far as the community goes, hopefully we can help them as well find some way of financial self-reliance like we have, because it all stems from freedom. The main difference that I see of the OSR versus some other suburban community is that here you're got a community of like-minded individuals if you want to be self-reliant. For the most part, they're following a lot of the state and county codes when it comes to building and power, water, electric. So it's not like they're going out and creating their own unregistered and unregulated earth ships. They're doing the best they can given the rules and regulations that most of us follow. And like I said, the biggest benefit to joining the OSR would be the community. So definitely, if this is something that you're thinking about or one of the communities that you're interested in joining, go to their webpage. The link will be below. And they've got hours of videos and all sorts of resources there on their website that'll explain in better detail than I have about what their setup is and answer all of your questions. And then if you really want, you can set up a tour. Go out there in person, see it for yourself, and meet the people, ask questions, see what they've got going on in person. That would be great. The links below. Follow us on our YouTube channels. Follow us on Twitter, Hex Ray Vision, Ecobuilder, Hexoteric, all on Twitter. Follow us and join our Telegram group at t.me/HexFoodies, where we talk about this sort of stuff. We do live streams and we talk about other Hexkin meetups. We love meeting Hexkins in person. They're some of the coolest people I've ever met. So if this sort of thing interests you, like and subscribe to this. We'll hopefully be bringing you more videos, visiting other intentional communities. And we're all about freedom, whether it's freedom in your life financially, politically, physically, where you're getting your food from, who you answer to, who you hang out with, who your neighbors are. That all has to do with freedom. And once you get a taste of freedom in one area of your life, you crave freedom in other areas of your life. And that's the conversation we want to have. Yeah, check out the links below. Thank you very much for watching.